Hello and welcome back to Songs of Syx. Today we are all about building up the population. We've gotten our fine lads up to about 1,200, 1.2k, but we're hitting this point now where without more housing, it's gonna be hard to grow. And both of our cities are currently boxed in on the water's edge without really any more room to grow. So there's some thought about building a small little outpost up here, as we have been kind of growing this area up a little bit. We in fact have some houses started already. We got kind of a little rec room. I think we're gonna need like a marketplace and whatnot up here. We are gonna have to build like an actual mini city. It doesn't have to be huge, but a little mini city up here is gonna be required. And then I want to start designing out, probably starting with roads, but designing the actual city that's going to take place here in the center, that sort of all these outer cities is going to end up supporting. Inside is going to be just houses, some heavy industry, a lot of tech. The libraries and everything are all going to go in there. And it'll be perfect. It'll be perfect. So I want this food stall in this marketplace. I'm thinking about like where some of the problem I have with this, and I'm just realizing I'm building these houses. This is a terrible spot to build these houses because this pump makes a ton of noise. A good idea this is not. Oh man. Oh, that's so much noise. So I could build some houses up here, especially if I built some walls help block noise. You can kind of see like even just this building has caused a lot of the noise to drop there. So if I built some stuff around this quarry, like the marketplace and whatnot, even better would be, of course, like buildings that actually take up the noise. But why don't we get this food stall, this marketplace going, and then we'll build around that, and we'll try to sort of build the houses up here and just up here. So let's say, you know what? Let's say like food stall there, market here. This is going to be a smaller town. You will need like a speaker as well so that people can yell at each other. Stage is maybe a bit big. I don't know that I'll build a stage up here. But I guess a gatehouse. Not a gatehouse, a guardhouse. Would help them feel a little bit safer. And that way we have sort of all the primary stuff we need here. Now, of course, all of this is, you know, more shenanigans that we're going to need to fill with all sorts of stuff. So I'm actually probably going to need to be building another big warehouse here. Not necessarily a big warehouse, but like a mini warehouse. Which I guess like I might do like 1, 2, 3, 4. Why don't we build a warehouse just sort of like this? And then, yeah, it doesn't have to be anything too fancy. Because I don't think this guy's going to really need like a ton of space. I've got all those rooms set to be destroyed. All those roads, sorry. Maybe. We could leave these walls and we could just build something else here. That might actually be a bit of an idea. we can fit in some more torches and the like. All up here as well. Let's do like that, and that, and that. Oh, I whiffed that. I whiffed it. Boop, 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 boop. That guy's actually still correct. You know what? Let's just fill in all this. All these little bits and pieces. And a little laboratory would be the other little piece that we're going to need in here, so. That is if 100 don't freeze and starve during the winter, right? The mother's level up day. Dinner was nice. Dessert loaded with sugar. More than a little bit of alcohol. Made me realize it's been almost 10 years since I last had an alcohol. Ooh. That's always a bit of a tough one when you haven't drank for a while and then suddenly you're like, I think I'll have some booze. And then you're like, oh, my body. What's happening? What have I done? A workstation? What is this? A workstation is a marker you put down which can employ builders. Builders perform jobs the same way odd jobbers do. They're handy for faraway job sites. Oh. Cool. I don't know that. But they seem like they could be pretty handy dandy. So I think this will work if I just have like one more service building. Why don't we put the bathroom here? You know what? Let's just copy this one. It's the right size. It's the perfect size. And then we can house up the rest of this. And basically this little area is done. It don't gotta be no more fancy than this. We'll fit a ton of different houses around here. Wherever we can. There tends to be a lot of people who have been working up here, so I feel like we can fit a reasonable chunk of houses. Without it being too absurd. You know what? Grab one more there, maybe. And that's honestly, that's probably enough houses to do everything we need here. And certainly this is going to take our guys like a bajillion years to get done, so. Now we could just sit back and watch them build for an hour. I do feel like sometimes that's what happens in this game. I'm just like, all right, I finally got this thing done, and now what do I do? Let the building commence. Yeah, we might as well grab a little road down here to this side as well. We're gonna add these little stepping stones. I like that they add little stepping stones to the canal. Randomly dropping fish in the way. Yeah, and that's honestly, that's about as big as I want this place to be. That all makes a lot of noise. I could maybe add a little bit more in here, but I kind of just think like, let's wall that off. I think that's literally going to be it. I think there's no need for any more. We don't gotta be none fancy about this. None fancy about these fellers. Curve the wall. Like those warriors from Hammerfell. Ah, you know what? We'll also put a fishery here. Unfortunately, this is a bit dumb. So we'll have to curve it in just a little bit like that. And then I guess that's where that gatehouse is going to have to go. At a certain point. Had some steps there, some steps there, some steps there, some steps there. That should be good, honestly. Probably another torch back here. This might be like a nursery, maybe. That all connects. That's so nice. How big can this go? Pretty big. Okay. Lots of good room for a fishery. In fact, there is technically room for another fishery here. What I would like to do, I think, is I'm going to leave room for an extra water pump if I need it. Just in case. I'll put some fish storage here. And then a couple of auxiliaries. Couple more auxiliaries? Oh, man. 96. 98. 99. 100. Well, if this isn't an overbuild for an outpost, I don't know what is. Does the game require houses to near the workplaces of the people living in them? Sheep? Yes, it does. And actually, that's what we discovered. Because I had all these empty houses over here. And I was wondering, like, why isn't anybody living in these houses? And when I went to go check our population, it actually turned out that 108 people were homeless. Despite the fact that we have, 7 extra empty houses and we have all these empty houses down here, the problem is that there's no jobs in this area. There's a couple of farms and that's about it. But most of the bulk of the work is up in the city, up in this little mini city. And there's a bunch of work up here, but there's literally nobody to work in like the coal mine. 29 people, 18 people, that's probably going to need more. So that's like 20, 30, 40, there's going to be like 50 between the odd jobs. That fishery will be another, say like 80. So then we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So we got about 170 pops that can work up here, which is probably about double what it needs right now. But it gives it a bit of room to grow and mess around. And yeah, right now, like, we are sort of desperate for workforce, so. Thankfully, these little workstations, they'll bring everybody up here that needs to do all the work they need to do. I wish, is there a way to, like, prioritize planning? Oh, there is a planning. Oh. Oh, man. I didn't know that. Interesting. Look, we're going to let our guys do this mini outpost first. No. I I didn't build a wall. I just built a lot of stairs. Everything I built was just stairs all the way down. That's so funny. Wait, it's all stairs? Always has been. I was like, that wall is looking really strange. Something ain't right about that, boy. That's so funny. All right, we gotta remove all that. Can you imagine if I let the entire place be built like that? I would have been really sad. At least we could get up on the wall. This is true. There are some perks. I do find it really funny that I'm like spending all this time building walls when I'm also like, I have never needed them. But, you know, it's the moment you decide you don't want walls that you need them the most. Where do I build this gatehouse to? Gatehouse. I had a feeling that was the case. So this town can't really have a gatehouse properly. It would need a culvert. And this is gonna have to be stoned. This entire road. Because that's now like a major highway. You know, at least until people are up here. We'll let them buzz around for a while. They're gonna take a bit. Are you so sure we're supposed to put stairs here? I'm not here to think, I'm here to hammer. Stairs is what we were paid for. Stairs is what they're going to get. Just an endless pile of stairs. God, I've got like so much roads in this town as well. It's very funny having a coal mine just be in the center of town. Like the town is basically built around a giant coal mine. And yeah, some of these houses are not going to be like stoked about it, but you know what, man? It's the coal mining town. Do I really care what they have to say? I probably should have built this out of wooden stockades. But you know what? I'm not too fussy. This hearth could certainly be bigger. Also. Of course, it can't be the size that I'd like it to be. Because God forbid anything worked on the same dimensions in this game. Just gonna let them build. It's the only thing I can do. I have 33 immigrants waiting to move in. You know what? I'm gonna accept them all. I'm just gonna move this up to 1,300. Did I just take a bunch of homeless people into my city in the middle of winter? Well, it's the first day of spring. You know what? They'll be okay. If they're hot, they just go for a swim. I definitely am going to need more water pumps here, because if I'm planning to pump water into the city, I might end up having to like get rid of this entire housing block and just add more water pumps, to be honest. I have a feeling we're going to need to pump a lot of water into the city. Yay, the first houses. There's been an accident at the quarry. The hospital is not overly prepared. Somehow, man, we are still like... Yeah, we have all these massive opiate farms. Ah, that's why. This one's not actually built yet. So why don't we buy up a bunch of opium? He says, as if it's a very normal, common thing to say. I'm gonna buy like 300 opium. Boy, that's not cheap. Yeah, and then we are in a position to start rocking these other guys soon. How is our ration stockpile? 2,000. And I'm making 69 a day. That means I could keep my entire army up. Oh, buckaroo. 42 and 49. Let's go. We're gonna make us an army. Recruit. Join the army. You and you. Confirm. So let's start mustering. I am aware what that's going to do to my workforce. But it also means I can go conquer more lands. And if we've just been waiting on rations for that anyways, so what does this need? This needs pottery, which for some reason I'm out of. I think I just keep selling all my pottery is the problem. I do. And what's hilarious is I'm not even selling it because it's too expensive. I don't really want to empty this. Unavailable clay. Oh. I do want to empty this. We replaced our clay mines with gem mines. Because I said I can make a lot more money out of gems than I can out of clay. And now I don't have any clay. So let's reset that. Just how much opium do we need? A lot is the answer. We need a hell of a lot is the answer. My liar has advised me not to answer that question. The answer is yes. The answer is lizard, 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 lizard. It's always the answer. Always has been. Well, at least these houses are coming up. They definitely need all this infrastructure to be built, which they're mostly just missing chamber pots for. This janitor I'm actually going to turn on auto because he's going to have a handful of stuff to do now that we have a little mini city here. Yay! All these guys are going to be so happy that there's homes for them to live in. An eclipse has arrived, plunging Syx into total darkness. Your populace is wondering if this is the final darkness the Sumerians spoke of. Your subjects fervently try to pray the problem away, or, failing that, drink themselves into a stupor. Mourning times 3, thirst times 2, piety at a shrine 5 and 5. Speaking of, I guess we don't have a temple to shrine to crater up here. I suppose we could put that down here. I'm going to leave this little hangout house because I just think it's cute. I like that guys go in here. They sit at the torch of the statue. Trade mining stories from working in the coal mines. The city, which was created entirely by pump workers and coal miners. And is now becoming like a real city. I think there's something charming about that. We'll put that temple right there. This little spot here could use a torch. And why not a little torch here on the way into town as well. People have been wanting more statues as well, so it's something we might want to consider. You're the police. My understanding is you need to identify yourself as the police. Even on stream. Especially on stream. Thanks to the walls, once it inevitably burns down due to all the coal, only the part inside the walls will be affected. Oh no. Uh-oh. I mean, at least it'll be contained. Yay, the eclipse is over. Loyalty is increased. I guess I could also build a big statue here because it doesn't seem like I have one. Doesn't feel like I have enough giant statues in this place, you know? Why don't we build it here? You know what? Why don't we do like that and like that? This torch is also in the wrong spot. So we'll move that over. Awesome. There's one thing I love seeing. It's just like your little towns come together. How's the army doing? They are still resupplying. They're kind of short on war beasts and plate armor. War beasts they have. Plate armor I'm not so sure about. Oh no, the training ground. Wow, the hospital is absolutely cranked out with people right now, which is great to see. Did we plant this field? We did. Also amazing. We are still short on actual people to work though, so even like these vegetable farms aren't getting done properly. But look, there's so many jobs here now with the farms that we're also starting to fill out these houses. So that's what I wanted to see. That does mean that there's room for some more farms as well down that way, which is great because it needs more farms. As our people shift around to like different industries, it'll start making more sense. Also, just as we like fill up on people. Yeah, you know, I think a hatchery up here is actually not a bad idea. If there is one thing I've been learning, it's that our people need to be making more babies. Babies everywhere. So let's try and get that going. Well, if I want a little bit bigger, you could actually go straight to the wall. One might describe it as both to the window and the wall. You know what? I think that's fine. 10 clutches, 3 employees. Keep us a little natural born population going. So 40 chicken butts, 40 whole chicken butts. Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the agency. 37 bananas. Coal miners making coal miner babies for the coal mines. Exactly, right? It's what the children yearn for after all. I think once we get this proper warehouse up here, things will also speed along a bit more naturally. Because like a lot of that stuff is not actually being kept. So those workers have to travel pretty far to get their stuff to the market. Bada boom, bada bing, bada boop boop bap. These poor little warehouses. There we go. So Let's put some fish in here. Let's put some vegetables, some eggs, some stone, some wood, some leather, some furniture, some cut blocks, a bit of pottery, one thing of fabric, maybe, some clothes. Oh, not enough room for that, hey? All right, no fabric then. Clothes. Maybe no pottery either. That's everything they need, right? Fish, clothes, leather, furniture, wood, blah, 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 food, food, food. This warehouse has stone, wood, and... oh, there's furniture in there as well. Okay. I could probably reduce all three of those then. And maybe we will put in pottery just in case. And I'm going to automate those workers. Which might be a mistake, but we're going to find out. So, now that everything is built, how is the noise? Nice! It actually worked out okay. The walls were enough to keep the coal mine at bay. So even these houses that are close don't actually have it. It's just insulated enough. We got a little guard post here, so we got a couple of people making sure there's no trouble in town. This is a tidy little town. Oh my god, we have like such a surplus of eggs and fish. Vegetables, not so much, but it does seem to be going up. We have a ton of coal. An absolute metric ton of coal right now. How are these guys doing? They've got their horses. In fact, I think they have everything now. So, let's go beat these guys up. This is going to be our vegetable farm. And then that guy's going to be our coal mine, which I don't even know if that we need anymore, but... what am I going to say no to conquering more territory? Not a chance. Is this game on my list of games for the raffle? I don't think so, Livy. Though it is a good game. Every time I hear someone say the whole children yearn for the mines thing, I feel like lighting a cigar and chuckle with a strange round belly sound. Sounds more like a whoop, 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 whoop. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Oh, those children, they'll learn. I hope that's enough room for you. Yeah, maybe I do leave that a little bit open just in case that water pump needs to go there. Just in case. Safety first. I wish I could fill in that area, but getting out here to these deep sea tiles is way more important. Look at this city go, man. Bustling. So this is a siege, so unfortunately we just have to like chill. Wait for us to smash open some doors. It's so funny that the city is like, well, we produce coal and we ship that out, and other than that we just produce water. But at least we got some bodies. We're at 1,300 and I have 100 houses. 1,400. Send in the bodies. This is a lot of extra room we suddenly have now. Things will also start being better now in terms of happiness because we have the amoeban hatcheries. Like, we'll have more natural born citizens. This torch is really not doing much. It was before I built a hatchery here, but now she don't make a lot of sense. Ah, well. You now employ over 50 farmers in the opium mines. Excellent. The opium mines are now producing more than the hospitals use. So we should be good at, like, keeping our people hospitalized. In the good way. In the way we're looking forward to. These guys are going to build another giant fishery here. I don't know how many people I'm really going to employ on this, but you know what? It's rare I say no to more fish. So, with that handled, you guys got to keep waiting. This is going well, though. How are my little cities? 1.18k. Workforce of 0. Sheenstad's got a workforce of 0. Odenburg's got a workforce of 0. Yen's got a workforce of 0. Hard building up these areas. What does it take to go from 2 to 3? 600. Man, you are so close. Neelandstad. 300. I'm kind of curious. If I was to get rid of like this stand and put in land clearance, how much more would that go up? That needs to get up a little bit more in order to get this going. It's so funny. Like I'm not sure like what the right pathway to be doing this to actually grow your cities is. It feels like there has to be, you know, it's almost like until you get to a tier 3 town, you don't actually want tribute coming in. Like, I wonder if I take off this guard post and put in a growth. Would this guy grow? Would it be enough for him? Like, if I did that and that, that would bump me to 452. That would bump me to 557. That's still not enough. But it is closer. Let's try that, because it doesn't look like they necessarily need a garrison. These guys definitely do need a garrison, but I think if I was to take it off temporarily, we'd maybe be okay. What is Machinestad's loyalty? Nah, you know what? These guys are still yellow-faced. So I'm going to wait a little bit more on them. Starting to look at like the world map here and seeing where all the other major factions are and seeing like, oh, there's a huge ton of yellow over here. There's a bunch of green up here. Yeah, if I don't conquer this island, like this is where my kingdom has to be, basically. I am absolutely tricked out on coal right now. That metal smelter is going full speed. We're going to need another metal smelter. Which makes sense, because I probably also need another smithy. Get rid of that mass grave. Biggest problem is that I kind of wanted them to all just fit down here, and I don't think there's enough room for that right now. So I'm gonna just try to stick these guys in where I can then. That big. Okay. If I did like that and that, maybe. It's another 12 employees. They do need these like ox furnaces. Just one though. $15 employees. And then I expanded that out. I could put a little storage bin right there for them, and we could put like a door right in here and in here. That would help them bring more metal in. All right, let's do that. And then I could build another smithy down here proper. The workbenches on this guy are pretty big. Yeah, they're pretty big. That gives me 100, but no room for storage. So that doesn't quite work. Why don't I just make this room a little bit longer? And then we can even make bigger workbenches. Why not? Jokum, hello. Good morning. This game somehow is both simpler and more complicated than Dwarf Fortress. It's true. It does like certain things more complicatedly, and other things I feel like it's got a simplified system for. 95%. So that's what I need for 100? Yeah. Technically, I can have one set of storage in here. I don't feel like that's going to be enough, but it's going to have to be. Okie dokie. So the intention is like I'm going to start making I'm probably going to start making tools here. I want to start making plate mail. Though I don't even know if we have that unlocked right now. TBH. How's this siege going? 40 guys left. And our ration stockpile is at 2,000. Oh man, the war machine is running. Yeah, we're still making rations right now. So that's fantastic. Yeah, you're importing the herbs down here. You're selling gems, meat, apples, and animals. We're importing nothing into this town. I guess I should probably be importing clay, seeing as I don't have any at the moment. Because I can't really make pottery without clay, so that industry is going to just like implode in on itself. And those are some more bodies to work this stuff. You're working on fabric up here. You need 2 more pieces. And this guy needs a little bit more wood. We're slow to get the wood up to this city. Mostly because there's nobody working in that warehouse. I guess that tracks. This game, yeah. This game. With all that humanitarian work you did, the Danes. You Danes are really great Danes. All that saving treasure from burning buildings. The true Danish way. Nice. Unavailable fish. No, you got fish. So now we can start making more babies. More sugar babies. short on opium farmers again. This has got to be done. Yeah. Occupy. In you go, little army. The city of Rogheat. So this town is mostly tilapias. It's almost entirely tilapias. So adding in something like a fighting pit here would be smart. That puts our target at 740. I don't have enough nobles. You don't say. All right, buddy. I'm going to take you off fishing, and I'm going to add you onto the old nobility chart. If I can allow this to be a small town, I think that would be very smart. I wanted this town to produce vegetables. What does this put our worker load at? 740. 900. Target 1.2. I don't know. I need you to be that big. I guess 900 would do for now. The Cretonians don't really care about this, but the Amevans also don't really care about this. Interesting. This town has a lot of Amevans, but like the vast population of this town is Tilapis. Now that's going to change somewhat, but they do also produce ore in this town, which we might want. Everybody kind of likes the stands. I do feel like hygiene is never really a bad idea, though. Let's try that. See what comes of it. Imagine you're out on your fishing boat, come back into port, and there's a bunch of official-looking folk waiting for you. You give them the big old Forrest Gump wave, and they tell you you're now a noble. I mean, that is pretty much how it happens in our city. That ain't far off. Congratulations, you've now earned the right to style yourself Lord of the Seven Kingdoms. Control 7 regions to gain this ancient and prestigious title. In your next playthrough or resettle, you're allowed to select this title to boost your game. 3.3 Guff points. Cool. I like these titles, especially now that we're like getting them on the somewhat regular. I don't think we can build all these. Those ones on the outside, yes. These two on the inside, maybe. This one I'm not so sure about. But also, it doesn't really seem like anybody is bringing those blocks up. I guess they're too busy trying to build the fisheries and stuff. Oh, no. Swamp lung. Grooming. Physician requires medicine, also requires tools. Our guys actually don't care about that at all, but we do care about the bathhouse. Oh man, which uses coal? That would be really nice. We have a lot of coal. Where is the bathhouse? Bathhouse. Requires second floors and requires fancy wells. Well, I can't say I disagree with either of those. We are hurting on cut stone right now. But I think a lot of that is because these houses are trying to get furnished. We might be able to increase Amoeban access to furs. It looks like. I think we have enough of this coming in that we can add it to the furniture pile. Well, once this fishery is done, which is almost done, this town will start taking care of itself. I am having a massive workforce die-off right now. What's going on? Is this just people getting sick? Must be. Gotta be. Fishery is almost done. Yeah. I think it's the swamp lung. The old swamp lung. Oh yeah, this hospital is absolutely cooking right now with people, so. Wow, man, we might actually need more, like, hospital workers. Again, it's like, we don't seem to ever have enough opium. Which feels foolish. Like, this number should be going up. If we only ever use 10 and the hospitals only use 4, like, that number should be climbing constantly. Okay, and this fishery is up and running now. I don't think we need this many people here, so I'm just going to drop this down to, like, 20 fishers. Mostly, I just want them to produce enough food to, like, keep the stockpile ready to go. And I hope that they will do that for us. I love seeing that coal train. Even though I cannot keep track of it, the moment it leaves, it just, like, vanishes, it feels like. I thought it took the main road. Oh, no, there it is. So it's coming down here now and then cutting across the fields. Interesting. I guess the stone road is good enough that it makes that difference. Don't know why about this game. It looks too advanced for you. I mean, you just got to take it a little bit at a time. I don't think it's that much more advanced than most colony builders. It just, it feels a bit overwhelming at first. The key is just, like, learning what are the beginning infrastructures you need, you know? Add a hearth, add a well, add a speaker, add a food stall, add a market, add a bathroom. Build houses, build industry. Oh, I guess also build a temple or a shrine. But it's basically like, once you get this down, you need this in, like, every city. And then everything else just builds around it. Figure out what your central square looks like and then work around it. UI is so weird. Once you get used to it, it's not that bad. Yeah, I mean, it's like there's so much information here that you're like, whoa, what is all this? And then you realize I don't have to look at 99% of this, you know? It's interesting when you want to be like, how do I hyper maximize different things, you know? Like, how do I figure out, wow, what's this thing? What's going on? Why is this not fulfilled? You know, if you're really looking to, like, bump certain stuff up. But it's not too bad. It does start to make sense after a little while. No, we're pretty happy with law now because we have lots of guard posts around. That is good. I'm going to start exporting coal because apparently I have enough money for that. I have enough coal for that. These guys are producing metal to the tune of not that much because we made a smithy down here who is producing, what, tools? I don't have full plate armor unlocked. Okay, so yeah, you're producing tools. How addeth tools is my next question. Do I just have to get this? 10 innovation? Yeah, we don't have much in the way of innovation going on right now. Which is definitely some concern. So these guys have kind of flatlined at, looks like 1.1. So I'm going to let them get their loyalty up a little bit before we go on and take on the next city. I'm also just starting to wonder if I could take these guard posts out. This needs, what, 600? I also need more governor points. Honestly, until I get more nobles, I might just not be able to. Unless I want to own all that land and pull all my, like, nobles off of productions. Okay. If this is done being built, that means I think you're gonna have to build that wall first. Can you do that for me? Yes, you can. Now you can build that wall. Yeah, so these guys don't really have a gate, but, you know, it is a choke point, so... in case something wonky happens. So I got vegetables coming in. I got opiates coming in, though I can't seem to keep this number up. Are we like selling opiates? I'm confused. You're selling fish, coal, and metal. I should not be selling metal. I have no metal right now. Yeah, let's let that go back up. Can't really make a lot of metal if there's nobody worked that job. There's a lot of sick people right now in our old society. Which ain't so good for us. I'm still kind of struggling to make enough weaved goods. I can't tell whether or not the cotton is actually a problem. I could just start, like, importing fabrics. You know what? Maybe we should just, like... It's actually not a bad idea. What if we just imported a bunch of these fabrics in mass? 43 versus 44. Doesn't really matter there. I'd rather buy from you. Yeah. The way I'm seeing this is just like shore up our numbers a little bit. Make me feel a little bit better about what we got going on there. And then let's start building up our roads, I guess. Do I think it's easier to have a mono-species city when starting out? Yes. I would say yes. Yep. Yep. I think there's just like a lot less things to make sense of. I just realized our YouTube video was set to unlisted, not public. Whoopsie. Yeah, I think when you're starting, it's a lot easier to balance the needs of one thing. Like knowing that I only need fish, eggs, and vegetables. So I don't have to mess around with like bread. I don't have to mess around with apples, meat, mushrooms. Like I can really focus what it is that I want. Yeah, and then things like meat. You know, we make meat from killing Globdians, and we make meat from like the leather imports we have. But I can set my hunters to just gather leather. And then any meat I have, I can just sell. If I needed it in case of emergencies, I could give it out. But we don't really need to, so. Which race is the simplest to get started? I mean, I don't know. Probably humans. Or, no, actually, I would actually say Talapi. Because Talapi don't really love anybody else. They're not as bad. But, I think that they benefit from having wood, so you just build in forests. You get really insane archers from Talapi. They're basically elves. And so you can just focus on, instead of having melee, you can just focus on having a massive archer line, and they will absolutely shred anything that comes close to you. They're really good at hunting, so you'll get lots of leather in. They're good at farming aurochs, which gives you leather and meat. So you can really, really like just say, hey, these are the things we do best. Let's do these things really well. Now, I'm also having a problem here where I don't have enough tailors. I don't have enough clothing coming in now. I mean, I think my biggest problem is I have like 165 people in, and most of them are sick. That was producing 14, and I need another 17. So if I double that, that's still not going to be enough. I'm going to put 20 tailors in here. Tailors were getting slowed down also because we didn't have any fabric. Well, hospital workers are doing their best. So. I want to start looking at roads. I want to start free brushing roads. Where is our foundations? Here. Kind of there. So why don't we like focus on building the city right in like that spot? Something sort of like that. Well, I think we could go even lower than that, actually. Well, arguably even lower still. Okay. So just some extra sort of natural roads. Could probably add one up like here. So that's sort of the prime area to build in. With this in the center being where like the best foundation is. That mass grave will probably move. This stone mine is gonna, I think, just sit there forever. Oh, whoops, whoops, whoops. I thought we actually have a proper road out there. Sure, something like that. Seems like this is a bit of a path right now as well. I don't know if that's just because people are coming up here to move that stuff. This is definitely a bit of a pathway. So I'm kind of hesitant to add in anything because of the way the Globdian farms are. I think I'm okay with the weird system we've got like getting built out there right now. I'm gonna go for some more natural feeling roads in this area. At least that's my intention. What's the army doing? You guys are still fighting loyalty here. Wow. All right, 23% though. It's almost up. You guys are at 70, so you're climbing up to higher as well. You guys are at 41. You're climbing, but slowly. And with only 5 governor points, like, I'll be able to take this free land, but I won't be able to do much with it. At least not yet. Then again, that place is only making me coal, which I really don't have a problem with at the moment, because our coal mine is absolutely buzzing thanks to our new town. Everybody doesn't have to travel halfway across the map to work here anymore. They can just, like, work here as required. Which is real nice. I like that. Turn the Xbox on for the first time in 6 months. Holy updates. Baldur's Gate is like 100 gigs. Yeah, Baldur's Gate always pumps out these like massive monster updates. Not sure if it's the Series X throttling downloads or Aussie internet, but 7 hours. Yikes. I don't love that for you. That's a bit too much time for me. Does sound like that could just be an Aussie internet problem, though, for sure. Let's just tidy up these roads. Make sure they all connect properly. Meow, 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 meow. There we go. So, I'm going to say probably something that runs along here. Down to the edge of this quarry as well. You know, considering everybody is sick and I shouldn't really have any odd jobbers, it's shocking how many odd jobbers I have. Like, these roads are getting built pretty much instantly. How is the secondary army looking, by the way? You guys got 28 full trained and 16 full trained. Not great is the answer. You do have enough spears, which is kind of cool. I could actually put these spear makers back on shields for a while. I'm a little short on warhammers. But I think that's because, yeah, we have like 500 warhammers out. So I'm actually like up on warhammers. Okay, we have successfully taken this place over to a happy medium. So we're going to move down and we're going to take the next city. I don't know why we couldn't just take a road down there. I guess there aren't any roads up here. But we'll start sieging that out. Seven tourists. Yeah, and so then there's like, there are still a couple of small free cities here. Winster, Parkavon, Universum. And then these other ones are just like, they are cities, but I don't think they're really like major. They'd be our first real fights compared to these ones that are just like steamrolling over garrisons. You know, if I got rid of all their fancy front yards, I could put 2 more noble houses in here. But then I'd have to get rid of all their fancy front yards, and I feel like that defeats the purpose. I don't want to add in any more housing down here, considering that nobody even is using the current housing. All of these houses need upgrades, but we're struggling to keep up on masonry right now. There was some talk about putting masons in here and having them bring down quarried stone from this top quarry. Which I still could do. I could get rid of this like little hut and build a mason. It's not a bad idea. I just don't know if it's needed yet. I am a bit concerned that this one little hearth here is not going to be enough for them, because I'm getting the feeling it ain't going to be enough. But I don't know. You guys are using that one a lot. You guys are using this one a lot. Yeah, I guess you just have to look at like where the hearths are being used more often than not. I'm assuming that's what these bars mean. 38%, 59%, load 100%. Oh no, I think it's saying that like these small ones need more. That these guys are overloaded. I think that is totally 100% the case of what's happening there. So this does need a much bigger hearth then. I mean, I could put one down here for the army. I could also like build one here. So I feel like this should be another transport depot. This was just meant to be like a heating spot for people who are walking by, who are just like, oh, I need a little hot while walking down the road. Coal mines, can't wait to go to the beaches to turn black like in northern England. Lizards bonk, bonking all the way. Lizards got the warhammers, now it's time to bonk, hey? I feel like that naturally went into Christmas time. Little Christmassy tune? If so, very well written. All right. All right. I'm going to set up the town square. I think let's go into planning mode. Because I'm also wondering how we're going to do this. Everything that's going to come into here is going to come in from the outer part of the city, so sugar. I need to close this mass grave. As much as I love throwing people in this mass grave, I think we need to find another way to do it. Starving? My brother in Christ, there is more food in this city than I know what to do with. You should not be starving. You are also exposure. Got a diseased corpse inside that city, but hopefully someone can get rid of it. And then these guys are still besieging. It's going fine. I wonder, will this change color once this, like, siege is won? I still cannot keep up on this opium. Look, this guy has a metric ton of fabric here. Shouldn't he be using that fabric to make all these beds? Not allowing this resource yields a recovery rate of 20%. Allowing your nurses to use this increases recovery rate to 50%. Fetch opiates. I mean, I might as well. I thought that they would grab these blankets and make the beds so that they were ready for people. Pull source. This destinations room doesn't match the selected resource. From warehouse 3? Yeah, it does. Yes, it most absolutely does. That's why it's full. I don't know what in tarnations you're talking about. Yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe they won't add anything in there until the opiates are down or something like that. Like, they won't make the beds without the drugs. So, okay, basically what I'm thinking is, like, warehouse on the outside of town. We're in planning mode, right? Yeah, so you know what? Let's start with walls. I'm gonna get our bases laid down here. And I think I'm just gonna brush them along. Because I like the idea of this, like, outer road being where our walls are. With, I guess, the quarry here being the exception. So maybe actually that's like a way into town. Ask me how I'm going to figure that out, but and I'm talking about sort of this area being this main part. So we could have this sort of inner wall. Here's a major cross section, so that could be another way in. That could be another way in. And then this goes like down here. So that's an entrance. This is for sure an entrance, because that's like a major path. I mean, I could run this road down along here and have this be the other entrance. I guess that would make some sense. So that would be like the rough outline of the walls. Those are big walls. So if you're coming into town, we got a door there, a door there. There's going to be a door down here. And this is going to be like the center of town. So I feel like you need a road like that. And then you're probably going to need a road that goes up to there. This kind of seems like a natural crossroad. Something a little bit like this. I like the idea of making the city in this sort of natural style, the brushed style. If this is the case, I think that's probably... Sorry, those are walls. So there probably is a road that goes along that. Sort of into that quarry. This is currently a road, but I'm not so sure about it. Have a little room for something here. You're going to need a little road along that wall as well. So I'd say then this makes sort of a natural cross section, which I think would just go all the way across the city. And I think that's pretty much our grid, right? Talking about like that being the center of the city. To me, that makes some sense. We got a few natural roads, but it's still like a bit of a grid shape. And I think we can work around that, so. How go the battle lizards? Lizardmen putting the Bach in bonk after all. They're going pretty well, honestly, I would have to say. We're just trying to set up for our new massive city expansion. I kind of think if this city is this big, I actually want 2 market zones. So I think what I'm probably going to say is like a market zone here, a market zone here. Central services, so things like, I don't know, the inn, the tavern, the temple, stuff like that could go there. And then we could do housing all in the center. And then the outside could be industry. And honestly, that also makes sense for me because if everything is being pulled out of here, having the industry be in that area would be better. This could be like the noble district in the north part of town. I'm liking this more and more. I'm liking this idea more and more. So if you were a food stall then, and you were a food stall, and let's say then you were a marketplace, and you were a marketplace, we could have, say, speakers here and there. They'll need bathrooms in these zones. Let's actually switch the sides that these speakers are on. Is there a button for like a quick delete? This is something I need to learn. Left control H. Not really. Left control H. Pick a hotkey for smart remove. Hit escape to exit. To assign a new hotkey, press left control H. I understand. I didn't at first, but I do now. And then we'll put in the toilets on kind of the outside of those areas. They're all going to need hearths as well, which is something I haven't really thought through very well. I think let's put those right behind the speakers. We have some nice room for things like decorations and statues as well. Wells. Well, the well in front of the bathroom certainly makes a lot of sense. Is there enough room for it on this side? There is. Not really, though. Just realizing, like, these roads aren't technically done properly. They have a lot of holes in them. So I gotta be a little bit careful on doing that. Also, all of these rows are currently only 1 wide. None of them are like 3 wide, which I probably want. But yeah, you know what? In the center square, it's not that important. It's not like hypercritical. Just because they're gonna walk over everything anyway. Let's try that again. Let's try that again. That's the bathroom, yep. Let's put that behind the wells. Behind the well. Okay, so now it's like we have 2 little town squares started here. The Bristol Orientating Club. The what? Is that for the lizardmen? And then we'll do things like the temple and stuff here can go in the middle. And the stage. But I wish, like, I could put this on an angle. It's really flubbing up my whole thing. I certainly want this road to be extra dummy thick. This is like the main cross section. This should for sure be 3 to 4 wide. Like, so should also this north-south road. Though when it hits the town squares, I'm willing to let it get a little bit messy. Oh, this planning tool is great. I can't believe we didn't find this earlier. So handy dandy. Make my life a lot easier. Yeah, I guess you go all the way down that way too. Even though I ain't so sure about that, but... Sorry, those are walls I have you on right now. This is going to be a double thick up this way. No, actually, I don't hate these little, like, blocks that come out. It does feel a little bit more natural with them. We're going to need guard posts in this area as well. To be sure. Yeah, you know what? I don't actually think this does need to be double. That can be like double wide. It doesn't need to be triple wide or quadra wide down there. It's more important that this one, that one, and this one are the ones that are really like bumping. I'll probably do this part of the city first. Okay. The other thing I was just thinking about was these sections are all going to need guard posts. These are market squares. The wells, the market squares. This is the hearths. Really ever going to be a good spot to squish these guys in. Lousy kappas. Never in a good position. Let's put them like there and there. I could just put a massive guard post in the center of the city. But I feel like there's got to be something cool we can put in there. Obviously, a temple would be, I think, my favorite thing to put in there. We could just do a huge shrine for right now. Worshippers 102. Somehow that doesn't feel like it's enough. Hate him. Half pint gets him. Just a football thing. Sus of anyone who spells words meaning with a group of people that normally start with C with a K. I hate their lizard faces or whatever. Lousy lizards and their stupid lizard faces. We need to build pools. We need to build pools. Or at least ponds. Which does also mean we need to, in building this, think about things like culverts. As lizard people, we really like ponds. Maybe there should be a central pond. Maybe that's the real idea here. I kind of like that, actually. That's sort of fun. We could have a little canal that comes out of it, and that leads to a culvert. And then... oh, man. We're going to need to build so much infrastructure for this. There is water that comes all the way here. So if I was to say build that across and then up. That's so close. If I did it there, it would work. That's room for potentially some more pastures and stuff too. And then this is also just like not that bad an expansion for us. In terms of what this would need. Obviously, like a few culverts in place. It's probably the trickiest little bit. And we just zigzag this on up here until we can go straight with it. That's okay. Honestly, that's kind of not that hard to get to. And if we want to build off of this, we could do it with culverts all over the place. That's a vibe and relatively simple. In fact, we might be able to do that just on the pump we have, which is even crazier to think about. Okay, deactivated. How many bodies are in here right now? Any? Resting place still holds the dead. Deactivate the room. Allow the corpses to decompose. Current cadavers 8. 14 days. Okay. Okay. I might have to actually like finish up this wall setup as well. So if I just fill all this in with dirt, this is not that I was not saying that's what I'm gonna do here, but temporarily, if I wanted to fill in this little eclipse. I like how loosey-goosey my drawing is here compared to how, like, perfect the pond is in the center of town. Meant to be, not ah. Which stream would have it so if you press T to go to the first game in your library, the T would exclude the game starting with the? That's totally fair. Totally fair. How is this area set up? Do you basically have a main city and then a bunch of towns villages feeding into it? Like, what are we building right now? Yes, that's exactly what we're doing. So we have sort of 3 outpost villages. There's like a farming village, a fishing / sort of everything village. This was like our original town. And then up here, we just have like a small industry village that's just mostly making coal and water more than anything else. I could pump water down here, but this is actually already really good farmland. So, and now the big thing that we're facing right now is like we just don't have enough housing, and I don't have room to really expand the housing in any of these areas. Here I could, but there's not enough jobs for them. So, we need housing and we need tech. Those are the 2 like major choke points on us right now. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to build up a big housing area in here and then sort of build like tech and industry all along the outside. And it's gonna be a little messy, but it's gonna be the plan. I'm just trying to make sure that we have everything, all the like critical resources that we sort of need right away. So I'm going to say let's put a stage down here. And then we'll do a temple to Krator on the north side. Seeing as this is kind of the more noble district. We'll build nobles all up here, I think, as well. That's the canal. And then housing. Are we missing anything? I mean, you know, definitely something like a hospital would have its place here. We have the hospital there. So part of me is like a hospital on the edge of town. That would be a good spot because all the opium and wool comes from up here. Let's loose build it. Now let's actually hold on. We got to fix the walls. Because right now the walls are not actually thick enough for anybody to walk on. And I want some double thick walls. At least. I am, again, willing to just kind of loosey paint this, though. If it's double thick or triple thick in some places, I think I'm just okay with that. So we'll have the gateway come in there. And then we keep building that up. We have another gateway that goes... let's say there. Nice part about the walls is I can always, like, if I don't have them thick enough, I can just expand outwards. Because we've already kind of got these roads built. They're sort of set up properly already. That can be another gate there. This is the only spot, like, where it's down here up against the road, I am a bit more concerned about getting it right. Just because there's, like, less space. So... That's not actually going to be an exit. Sorry. It currently is, but that's not going to stay that way. That can go straight to the edge. And now it starts to get a little bit confusing as all my tiles start overlapping with each other. I don't know how to build the entrance here, but I'm also not sure that I need to really have this be a proper gatehouse. This is all a mess because of this mass grave. But that's okay. That's okay. Double thick this. Double thick daddy that. I don't want to like cut into the city too much either. That's not going to be an entrance here. That's just a major road. Okay. So that's the wall sort of laid out correctly. The road's laid out correctly. Let's plan a little hospital in here then. The emergency hospital on the outer side of town, you know. You know how it is. We'll go that, like that, like that, like that, like that. Doors here and here. Again, just all kind of planned out. So he might have a bit of a loose path there. We don't have a direct way around these walls, which is a little foolish of me, but have a road that kind of goes down this way as well. There should probably be an inner road that leads along the walls. I always kind of feel like that's a good idea. So help me God, I think we have everything we need except what? The warehouse? Boy. How do I want to build this warehouse? It's so funny that I've decided to build this on a, like, the Dutch angle instead of just building it square, because everything lines up better if you do it square, but how do we feel about the fact that the tournament organizers misspelled combat when coming up for the name of a tournament to decide the fate of the realms? Is there a reason why Mortal Kombat is spelled with a K? Like, have they ever lore corrected that? Dad said if you had another half, you'd be a wit. I'm feeling pretty good about that one. Halfway there. Wonder why people called Alec are always considered clever, but I've never seen someone called Alec who knows. Or why Smarties get so much love. They're just terrible M&Ms. Yeah. M&Ms are just especially better. The peanut ones, I think. Smarties were around first, but unsure. M&Ms are definitely the vastly superior choice. I think anyone who says otherwise is, they're fooling around. They don't know what's what. Where am I building this gatehouse? Here? If so, that means that needs to be roaded. I guess you don't. But you do. Okay, that could work. It's a bit messy, but it would work. Oh my god. Okay, I think we're actually ready to start building the things we need. This has been a lot of setup. I appreciate the patience. But I think we're ready to start laying out the homes. Oh no, we need the warehouse. Sorry. One last piece. Probably we're going to need multiple warehouses. I think we should probably have a warehouse like here, maybe here, here, and here. I'm finding it hard to imagine us not needing a collection of warehouses right now. Given how many like different buildings are going to be in here. And also, it can just be nice to have multiple warehouses. And then let's have these guys. Doop, 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 doop. Like that. Like that. And then we could put like one more in there if I just turn off this last line. And we can have a door here. Probably a door there. I don't know, maybe a door in the back here. I suppose it depends on what we need. What if we did a door there and a door like there instead? Would that make more sense? Sure. That still keeps it at insulation 100. Tack a little road around it. For good measure. Add some torches and stuff around. Now let's fill all this in with houses. It's fine. It's housing time. I'm gonna try to stick with long houses as much as I can because obviously they are the most efficient, but I will be adding in anything that is required here to make this work as optimally as possible without interfering too badly with the grand design. Okay, I like that. That keeps things running pretty smooth still. God, I cannot wait to turn all this on. It's just going to be like a mass of building projects kick off all at once. I can't believe I'm going to do this. I'm going to build a square. Unheard of in my city design. I will be building a square. Just a plain, boring, old, regular square. So I did kind of want more industry along here, so I think this is probably going to be like labs or, I don't know, man, I might put like a weaver or something in here. I'm not really sure. I guess it can't be next to the housing, right? So this is all got to be like housing up here is got to be like the prime spots for it. If we think about it in this way. So can I like tack one of you here, here, and here? Oh, I love that. And then maybe just something dirty like this. Add in a little extra housing. Oh, this is going to feel so good when we start building all this. It's going to absolutely destroy our like worker economy, but in the most lovely way imaginable. This is a natural pathway across right now, so why don't we just do that? And we have room for tacking in little things like torches and statues and whatnot, which, you know, I'm trying to leave room for all that stuff to be added in. Like Smarties more, but you don't like nuts? Oh man, nuts and chocolate, so good. Turns out Mortal Kombat is spelled such as Mortal Kombat was too generic to trademark. That makes sense. I can actually see it that way. Yep. Can break the shell off of Smarties and let the chocolate go inside, melt on your tongue. That's fair. I guess that is a perk of Smarties. If you really need to like separate your candy when eating it. Something tells me a road like straight up here would also be really nice, and then split the housing like this. No in-universe reason for combat, but half point is right about the trademarking. Okay. Oh, I can't believe I'm doing this with long houses. But you know what, man? We are literally building this city for housing. So if we have to make some ugly houses, that's just the price we gotta pay. It's just the price we're gonna have to pay. Step you in like that. It's a bit too tight. Okay. Kind of shocked I can't fit in something just a little bit more there, but let's do the other side. It's gonna be a lot of homes. Homies. We gonna have a lot of homes here, homies. It's gonna be nice. Yeah, all right. Squish in a few more lads. Let's just move this guy back a peg. So at least our insulation is contained. Gorgeous. That'll be a few more houses. What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. That's almost 300 houses. I think that's just shy of 300 we had there. Which is crazy to think about. Like, you can get up to like 10,000 in a village. I can barely even comprehend that right now. Careful when building warehouses. You might want to build a warehouse and it might run away. Only if it's a full moon. We only got to worry about it if it's a full moon. So, yeah, I'm going to need labs. And I'm going to need libraries. And how they all fit in here is the next question. This is all going to be some wonky sizing for sure. You know what? That's 15 workers. The labs don't have to be like anything too special. I'd rather them just kind of like fit into the space. Okay, I think we're ready to start building this. So Why don't we conquer this settlement that has been who knows how long waiting for us to conquer it? We can move on in. We can build a governor's house. We're meant to be getting coal or wood from here, but we just don't currently need it. So I'm going to add in some growth. And this is another Talapi settlement mostly, so I think I'm going to build a fighting pit. Growth and a fighting pit. And we'll see how that works. That's all of our governor points. Let our army just like sit in the town for a moment. And before we start kicking this off, why don't we start that build up in the next video? And we'll cut this one here. So you have to come back and join us then. Until next time.